Hi, and welcome to second in a series of Cantrak return loop build. This is where we're building a 3-table module which is being used as a return loop. Initially I showed you what the tables look like with the cork down, and now what we're going to do is lay track on that. So we'll be able to show you the track that we're using, how we attach feeders, how we're gluing it down, how we're doing all of the nitty-gritty of laying track. We won't complete. Okay, what I've done is made a little jig here, and it's got this piece here to center everything. It's got the track that you've already seen soldered, and it has one of the super glued PCB ties in there. So all I need to do here, actually perfectly straight, and with the masking tape that's holding that in place, that's holding that piece in place, that's more or less holding that piece in place as well. Now all I have to do is solder this guy on and be careful that I don't solder to the joints there. So let's see if I can, we'll go back here where we had a little bit of flux. Get just a little bit of flux on these ties. Just make sure the tip is clean. Okay, soldering iron's up to speed now. Start on this side. Do them on this side. Ah, it's melting the CA. Got a little in my eyes. And then the last thing to do is, so it's like that, press that down a little bit. Okay, that's got that one done good. Press that one down a bit. There, that seems good. We'll double check the gauge. Gauge is fine. The last thing to do is to clean this all off with a little bit of 99 alcohol in there. And then blot that. And let's test that. Yeah, that's in there good and firm. Yep. What we'll need to do for sizing is put this on. Put this whole thing together like that. Then put it on the layout, butt it up. Remember, super glue under here and regular white glue under the rest of this. But there's one more step. I need to attach feeders to here. And in order to attach feeders, I want to do it underside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a spot probably here and here and just cut a little bit more. So now what I need to do here is I need to drop feeders. I'm just going to feel underneath if there's an issue. Yeah, I want to drop them somewhere around here. I'm going to go underneath and look, there's a member that goes across here. I'm going to measure it so I don't accidentally drill into that. 3.5 inches back, between 3.5. Yeah, so I could have it back 3.5. So I could drop feeders here, or I can drop feeders here. I prefer here. In order to drop them here it'll be in this area. So let's flip this over and see. I'm going to put one feeder here. And the other feeder I want to put here. The reason I want to put the feeders there is there's already this gap in the track here. I just have to trim it a little bit to tin it. Will that work? I'm going to do a hole there. I'm going to do a hole there. Time to get the drill. Felt good. This one, remember I said I was going to go through at an angle. So let's start it straight down. And then just bend it at an angle. There we go. Okay, I've soldered the feeder wires, and I do my tug test to make sure they're okay. And then I look on here, and do I have any, I got no issues that I can see of. I may put the black wire through, maybe that's at an angle. Got to be careful, because if you get it wrong, it won't go through. The red one goes straight through. There we go. Now we pull these down, push them down. Now we have a bit of leeway here. I mean, we can move stuff around a bit still, so it's looking perfect. Yep. That's like that. That goes like that. All lines up. Now, you don't have to pull it all the way out. All you need to do is go like that. Put it over on its side. Glue goes along here mostly, with a bit in there. And we spread this like this. So we'll grab some super glue. Put it on there. And this whole thing gets pushed into place exactly on the center line, exactly up here. It's tacked there. Rest of that goes down there. And we have pins which we use to hold this in place here. Now the other thing I have is a roller that I can use to seat this better. Once I have, we'll put some more pins in here. Use this guy, slip it under the pins. Well, I guess it doesn't slip under, so we'll pull a couple out. I'll make sure everything's nice and straight still. Yeah, everything fits. Good. Now I'm going to get some weight for this as opposed to the pins. Pull this out. And anybody scuba dive? So I like using scuba weights. They Just double checking here, make sure everything's going okay. That doesn't want to be any further down. That all looks good. That center line. Okay, that one's done. Okay, folks, this is what we ended up with after the last work session. You can see at the end here how these are, all of these, this is the main line in and this is the main line out, so we got these two. This is a siding. Now each of these is soldered to PCB boards to make it as secure as possible, and then these boards are super glued down. The rest of the track I used Woodland Scenic Foam Tack glue. So it's this stuff that I use. I prefer this. It doesn't dry quite as shiny as white glue, but white glue can be used just as easily. And this happens to be the medium super glue that I use, but any will do. The other thing that you can't tell in here, you can there, because these were done on the side, but along here, and you might be able to see right there where those two little red dots are, there's wire going down. In most cases I'm trying to solder the wire underneath the feeder wire, so feeder wires here, feeder wires there, feeder wires there, and these joints are soldered so they don't need feeder wires. Feeder wires somewhere along this guy. I have to search to find out exactly where they are. Yeah, if I go under the table, well, I can feel them under the table. They're right around this area. And again, soldered joint. Now, this here joint is open with just plastic insulated joiners. I'm going to have to fill in the little gap there a little bit. This whole front section along here will be isolated from here, and you can see those guys aren't joined in. So we basically got those three tracks. And just a reminder, this front track all the way along here, there will be a turnout in here, and again I'm going to isolate it here, and then we'll go all the way to the end. These other two, you can see, are going to feed all the way back. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. I have, however, developed a bit of an allergy to super glue, so I'm going to wear a mask when I do the next bit of work. And first off, though, I'm going to fill this. I'm just going to use some styrene strips. I've glued a couple of them together, file them a little narrower, I'll stick them in there, and I'll use super glue again. So first up, let's see if I have one of these the right thickness. Looks quite close, so I'll grab the file and just file it down a little so it's the thickness that I want. Okay, that's a little too tight. We'll take just a little bit more off. And that just goes in like that. There, now I'll just attach, put a little bit of super glue on it here. And on this side, yeah, here I move so you can maybe see. Because the inside of this rail is going to be filed, whereas the outside, I'll zoom this out a bit more so I'll be able to see stuff a little better. Yeah. Okay, let's try that now. Yeah, that's good. Just going to clip this off some. Okay. That one's setting up well. That one's setting up. Let's add some glue to the outside just to make sure. There we go. Okay, now we'll just let that dry for a while, then we'll clip it off and file it down and make everything nice and smooth, hopefully.